Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And on tonight's episode, the Premier League is back, baby. This is our 10th season that we are going to cover in full.
Sure.
I made sure I did the math correctly, so Tony Sansogood wouldn't be mad at us afterwards.
Yep.
But I did it, and yes, we will have talked about the end of 11, but but this is the 10 full ones we've done from the beginning. So first up, tonight we're going to highlight and discuss the main match of the weekend that was between Manchester United and Arsenal. Then we'll recap every other match from each match week one, as well as preview each club a little bit in our very famous and very lively 2-minute drill. Might be a little spicy than it was the last couple times. And then the halftime whistle is going to blow for the still no sponsor on the front of our kits, and the new girl dad, Ron, shares with us the new yet old clubs back in the new edition of Ron's Promoted Knowledge News. Then finally, the moment you all have been waiting for, the most important Premier League predictions you will hear in the next 2 hours. So far, usually the worst from year to year. As for the second half of the pod, we'll give you all of our Premier League predictions for this upcoming 2025-26 season, including our infamous Leicester-ish prediction, which we do every season based off of our very first pod in 2016 when Leicester City won the Premier League. But first, our beer. Gents, you mind if I go first?
Hit it.
All right. I went super local, as in when I got done with work, I ran over and grabbed some beer. It has an advantage working in a place that has its own brewery. If you're new to join the pod, I work at a place that over the Mount Hope Estate and Winery, and they have the Swashbuckler Brewing Company over there, and they've been cranking out a ton of beers. We might even start playing around with some of the new non-alcoholic beer phase that's going on, or I say fad. I don't know if it's a fad. It might stick around because they figured out how to make some good stuff. But I think it's here to stay as well. We're looking to experiment with mocktails and everything else. But this that is not the case for this beer. This is a ABV of 7%. This is I don't know my German well enough living over here where I do in German country. I should say this better, but I think it's Stilgehen. I don't know, Ron, if you can confirm that, but I think it's Stilgehen. And this is our German style Pilsner Helles.
Is he fighting a goat?
He is fighting a goat. Actually,
a ram?
The goat is knocking him out. This is our
okay.
This is our Hellesbach. So our Helles is a deep golden color produced from the lightly roasted caramel malts used during the brewing process. This is a malt-forward beer with refreshing hints of hop and on the nose and finish. Very refreshing with a hint of sweetness, making it an easy drinking lager, perfect for a spring day. I'm sometimes weird about Bachs because if they're really crisp, I like them. Sometimes a lot of American Bachs are more bready and malty than I like.
Malty,
yeah. So I'm based on this description, I'm stoked to try the Stilgehen. Sounds like it's up my alley.
Proper pronunciation, according to Google's AI, is Stilgehen.
Stilgehen. Yeah.
Stilgehen.
That's what I said.
Nein!
Mach schnell.
Who's next?
I'll go. I had some friends who had to go back to China for a business meeting. And so they brought me back my favorite Jing A beer from the Jing A brewery over there.
Oh, we've had them on before.
Yeah, we've had Jing A on quite a few times, but this one is my favorite Tuchau Pilsner.
Oh.
They brought it back
from
the old city of Beijing near the Great Wall.
That's awesome.
And so,
pretty cool, man.
This is one of those beers that when someone mentions it to you, you go, oh, and you think about that beer for a few days. So someone texted me and said, hey, I'm bringing you back some Pilsner from China. And all I could think about was this one. So I'm super excited. It's 5% alcohol, but by volume. Jing A Brewing Company's Tuchau Golden Pilsner. I'm getting over a cold. I apologize. You can just edit that out.
Or not.
5% on the old ABVs at home. Ugh, I'm so excited about this.
What style did you say again?
It's a golden pilsner.
All right, man. That's 2 pilsners up. What do you got, Ferris?
All right, I got a birthday gift beer actually, from our friends Chuck and Sarah. Ron and his wife took us out to a K-pop place across the street from Universal. Right? Did I say that right?
K-pop, as in like Korean pop.
Pot.
Oh,
Pot, right?
pot.
Not K-pop, like
Okay.
K-pot. I mean, everything starts with, it's either K-pop or K-pot, but K-pot place.
Hot pot joint.
Yeah.
Hot pot. There you go. That's probably what I should have said, which is very good. And thank you again. But Sarah and Chuck had got me a 6-pack from a local brewery in town, Crooked Can. You may have heard from them before, or we may have had them on the pod once, twice, 700 times. I don't know. And it's one of the style that I had not had, but that I would assume a lot of the Premier League players had as they're coming back from their time off. Pina Colada IPA. It's a Troppa IPA Lusa, totally tropical. I'll read you the little thing here on the can. Troppa IPA Lusa is a sun-drenched summer vacation in a glass vibe. This hazy IPA masterfully blends the tropic sweetness of pineapple and coconut, reminiscent of a classic pina colada, with a hoppy bite expected from a well-crafted IPA. Expect juicy pineapple and creamy coconut aromas to mingle with crispy hop notes, leading to a palate where the sweet fruitness is balanced, but a subtle bitterness and a smooth, slightly creamy mouthfeel. Cheers, Andy, Alan, and Todd. 6.4% alcohol by volume.
Sweet.
I do miss me a good Crooked Can beer.
And they just came out with their Oktoberfest beer, which is quite good. So I'm going to have to swing by and get that here soon.
All right, gents, shall we do this?
Let's do it. Happy Premier League back season.
Oh, it's so good. It does smell like a malty pilsner.
Oh, it smells so good, just like I remembered it. Oh, I didn't realize how much I missed this beer.
That's a perfectly poured beer if I've ever seen one.
Boom.
All right, gentlemen.
Same here. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cilantro.
Oh, man. That's flipping good. That's another one I need to get sent down to you guys. It's malty, but it's got that kind of crisp golden or crisp pilsner hop on the end of it. That's super good.
Super good.
Mm.
Not a beer that I would have over and over and over again, but super darn good. And you guys know this, and I've said it on the pod many a time. I appreciate a beer that the title and the description is what you taste. And that is exactly this. It tastes like a pina colada with an IPA bite to it. You get the pineapple, you get the coconut, and this is going to sound weird, but you even get a little bit of that like sunscreen.
Yes.
You know, like, because, yep. But it is beautifully blended, and tastes quite nice, and as you can tell, it is quite thick. So, but very good.
Nothing has said what it is on the 10 to this day, like Cookie Puss milkshake or Cake IPA, ice cream
Yes.
IPA. That is still the most on the nose. Like, yep, it said what it was, and we still drink it.
And that was the one that I drove to Daytona to get, right? Was that,
Yep.
Was that yep? Because that was the only one I was like, you actually have it? Go back there and double check.
I think it was.
She had it. I said, from where?
I think it was for my going away to China party.
That's
Yes,
exactly what it was.
Yes, it was, because it started.
Because our friend
at
Kelsey,
the Ivanhoe Brewery. Yes.
she showed us she discovered it. Yeah, we're like,
yes.
what?
And the only place like anywhere around was in Daytona or like Orange Grove or like that area. And I called around to a bunch of different like Total Wines and everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, I think we got it. I was like, can you just double check for me? Can you go back and make sure? Because I've been like bamboozled a few times here. She goes, okay, hold on. Went back. She goes, I have 1 4-pack of it. I said, keep it there. I'm on my way. I'll be there in 45. I'll pay cash. And she kind of was like, okay. I said, my name's Ferris. I'll see you in 45. Got in my car, drove straight there, picked it up, drove straight back.
My name's Ferris. I'll see you in 45. I flipping love it. That was like such a caper of a moment. I loved it so much. Because as soon as she showed us
some great quotes too.
Yeah, we're like, we have to get this for Ron before he goes. But who knows? The real gift was going to come from Ferris. Jeez. Holy cookie puss. Oh my God.
And there was an F word in there too.
Yes, there were. I'll go find them. There's somewhere here. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Why talk about it? Did you just burp up good beer mixed with cookie puss beer? There it was.
I forgot that was my burp.
Yeah.
I don't burp. I really don't a whole lot. And that one snuck up on me there.
Oh my God. I mean, like, I need to figure out what episodes they were to talk about, like, and then Ron gets back from China. See, that's the thing. That was Ron. Boy, we have really deviated off, but I don't care. Like, we did the thing for Ron leaving for China.
Yep.
Then he came back from China and he brought the baijiu. And that was like the other bookend of the burp.
Do you know we were out? I don't know where we were out. But Tony turns, we were talking about something and Tony goes, you know what? I want to try the baijiu. I said, don't you ever say that again. No, you do not. I said, that stuff was brutal. And I said, Ron was laughing the whole time because he had it and he had known like the tricks of the trade on how to do it. And Blake and I are just sitting there like, woof, this stuff's brutal. And Ron, you were telling us a story that it would be at like every state meeting or something, and people would find ways to like hide it under their tongue or soak it in their bread or whatever. I'm like, oh, no wonder stuff's like gasoline.
Yeah, sorghum alcohol.
Oh,
and then that conversation turned to, oh, didn't you guys get iced as well? I'm like, yep, we sure did. We found out what that means, so we had to explain that to a friend. Yep, we got iced, and then in Chicago, showed up at some bar after a whole day of being out and drinking, and we had Malort.
Yeah,
that was a nice surprise.
See, you guys, I've helped culture you over the years.
Yeah, you've exposed us, definitely.
Yes.
To something.
At least it goes away with a cream.
Oh, my God.
Man.
I love how that went from, that all came from Ferris saying it also tasted like his beer had a bit of sunscreen in it.
Yeah, sure does. But it's very good beer.
And Ron, is yours just like a traditional, like Chinese made version of like a super crisp Pilsner, like is like a Urkel or like a Pilsner Urkel or something like that?
It's a weird one because it's a cross between a golden ale and a Pilsner. So think of like a golden Carlsberg.
Ooh. All right.
So good.
This is good. I'm glad I grabbed a couple to bring down here. Because it's time to talk about Premier League. Why does it feel like it's been 8 years, but it's only been a few months?
Right?
Yeah. But we're back, baby. And this past Sunday, our match of the pod we're going to talk about. I don't know, we need to give these a name. We only do one.
Yeah. Well, I'll figure out something.
On Sunday, the premier match of the week of the Premier League took place at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Arsenal, and it only took the visiting Gunners 13 minutes before they got on the scoreboard by what other than a set piece goal. As backup United keeper Altay Bayender flapped in the wind amongst the gaggle of players in front of him. That's probably an apt description. It was eventually the new man bun Arsenal Italian crush of Riccardo Calafiore. What a fun name. Who was the lucky receiver of the ball, ending up on his luscious man locks. That goal proved to be the only one in the match, despite continual pressure from United to get the leveler. With 7 saves, the most of the weekend, David Raya was named player of the match, and Arsenal escaped Old Trafford with a big 3 points to open up the Premier League account. Gentlemen, overall thoughts of the match, as well as the new look of the squads each.
I want to talk about United for a quick second.
Sure. Go ahead.
They felt like they're going in the correct direction.
I'll agree.
Maybe, maybe they're not all assembled and squared away. None of the teams really.
No, it felt like preseason for all of them to still.
A bit, yeah.
But it seemed like there was a plan. It seemed like people generally knew where they were supposed to be playing. They had positive defensive interactions. They had playing through the midfield. They had spreading it out wide. I felt like maybe this is a year where United isn't going to be in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I walked away from this being contently positive. United pretty much dominated the stats on everything except for that one big stat, which was the final score. And a large part because of some of the signings they've done. But there was a sense of understanding. There was a sense of understanding what Amarin's 3-4-2-1 system is. Euro looked great. DeLitt looked great. Shaw actually looked pretty good, and he looked a little bit healthier than he has. And not that he played a whole bunch in the past few years because he's been hurt. Dorgu looked like he is fitting in, and this is absolutely an Amarin-style player. Casemiro and Dalot were okay in this, but the new lads of Cunha and Emma really pushed. And Cunha had a darting counter run that he just took all by himself and almost scored. The only and up front was a false 9 in Mount. And listen, he worked hard, he did well. I want to see him play more. I think all United fans was hoping that the new big number 9 Benjamin Sesko would start, and he
There's no way
came
that
on
fast though.
Yeah, but he was on the bench and he came on, so if he's good enough to be on the bench and good enough there, he already done a few training sessions. I would have liked to see him start and then pull him in like the 60th. But all in all, I agree. It was a much more positive, and although it was a loss, they had the higher expected goals. They had the higher total shots on target, more accurate passes, fouls committed, much more passes. They on every stat they pretty much dominated except for that final score stat. So that's the thing that Amarin has to get, because he has lost a lot of games. And in fairness, he has to have time, and he has a whole season. He had a whole off season to now implement it, and we've gotten the transfers done fairly early to implement them in. And there's no Europe this year, so it is a very positive start, despite not getting the 3 points. What comes next is the results have to come.
I think the stat for the losses is this is his 15th defeat in 28 Premier League games as a Man U manager. Which is the fastest a manager has reached as many Premier League defeats without the manager coaching a newly promoted team.
Yep.
So that's the only you have some tough games in it. So
we have the toughest schedule to start. Yeah. But
you mind?
It's statistically, I'm pretty sure it was deemed by what's the company?
Because we're Leeds, Liverpool, Nottingham, Man City, then Newcastle. What are you guys?
Good question. But I know that when the
Fulham,
fixtures came out,
Fulham, Burnley, Man City, then Chelsea. I don't know, man. I think that's a harder start on our end.
We had you all to start. Top 10 team in Fulham, yes, a newly promoted team in Burnley. Then we have our derby. Then we have Chelsea. Like that's pretty tough. And I think they're all, or no, we were home against you guys, and we're going to be home against Chelsea, but all other games were away. And yeah, the stat you read about Amarin isn't as much. The results aren't there. This United played well enough and good enough that they should have gotten something from this game. That that's how I kind of walked away with the feeling of it, at least a point or something from the game. But results have to start coming. You have to couple the good play, the positive play, the defense that you had. We only conceded on a set piece, and you have to couple that with results. And if that doesn't come, then he could be in trouble. But I want to see him finish out a full year, just despite what occurs. So I don't think we're going to be in 15th again, and we can't keep turning things over. We got to stick with somebody. I think the new ownership sees that, and hopefully they'll just stick by that.
I think
the newish ownership.
I think you guys are going to have to replace your midfield before you really, or find a different way to move the ball through the midfield, because I don't think that your midfield pairing is fast enough anymore. Casemiro's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's constantly, pinging the pass, but I don't think with your new attacking hardware up front, who were, just causing fits for Arsenal, I think you're going to have to get some midfielders who are younger, quicker, right? And who are a little more spot on in their strategy to get to get these balls to your attacking players. I feel like if you guys had a hang up on this one, I mean, I hate to say this, but Casemiro, who used to be a great player and is still good, he's 33, right? And so I don't know. I think your midfield is going to need a little help.
Yes, absolutely. But I don't think it's a full midfield change. I think it's looking for a number 6. They've part of the problem last year, we couldn't score goals. We seemingly got goal scorers in this year, right? Both proven in the Premier League and then abroad, all fairly young.
The trick is who's getting
goal scoring intent.
It's who's getting that ball to him. I think that's really.
But that's fine with a Dorgu, a Fernandez, and a Casemiro can ping the ball around. But to Ron's point, that number 6 role that has to have some legs to it is not there as much. So you have your Kobe Ainu in there, but is he a true number 6? Not really. You have Manuel Ugarte in there. Is he a true number 6? Yeah, he is, but his quality is not quite there. And I think they were going after Carlos Baleba from Brighton, and I don't think it's going to get across because Brighton are just trying to bend us over and try to like 115 mil because they've lost everybody. They've lost everybody primarily to Chelsea, but they've lost so many players that who the heck's even left for him now? So and he's young. He's 21, 22, somewhere in that range, and a number 6 that they want. And they've been trying to get a deal done, but it's probably not going to get done just because they're asking for too much. And we can't pay that, nor should we pay that.
I think that's just the cost of, all right, fine, sure, if you'll do this, we'll do it. But they don't want to make the sell. Yeah.
No, and I think Ron, to your point, a number 6, there was talks of Adam Wharton from Palace that could come in. I wouldn't mind that. And then I think from a goaltender side, the goaltenders just aren't good enough. It's they are. That's the
what
most
I was
consistent thing
say.
about them is that they're inconsistent, and they're all second tier type goalies. And I would love to see, and there hasn't been any real tread on this. I feel like it's been more reporters just trying to draw the link, and I'm okay with that link being drawn. But go after, and PSG have opened the door for Donnarumma. He's going to be a Yashin winner this year. Pay the 34, the 40, the 50 mil and go out and get him. Because we need a better goaltender. This game cost us because of goaltending. Yes, Arsenal are good at set pieces. We know that. They scored off a set piece. Yes, we know that our set piece tactics are not very good. But that's a ball the goaltender should be at the very least punching away. Instead, he kind of got manhandled and he just flapped an arm out of it. It's like he got caught in the mind of either wanting to body up with them or go after it with one arm and punch the ball away. In the end, he kind of thought too late, decided on trying to go for it, and that's what you get in terms of a flap, at it. So, yes, Ron, in a long way of saying United need a number 6 to come in before September 1st deadline.
What did we think of Arsenal?
If you can get 3 points and you don't play great, that's what you got to do. Like that. If you're going to win stuff, that's what you got to do it. Obviously, Gyökeres started. I didn't. People are so funny. Do want to walk in and get a hat trick. He just got into the team. Do you know what I mean? Like it is what it's going to be.
He did not look good.
No,
though.
but he also didn't play. He didn't get a lot to him either. Like he was
and
feeding
I don't
on
know
scraps.
if that's the way. And I don't know if that's paying a little bit to what United did to kind of keep him at bay, or if it's too early to tell if he doesn't fit into the system that Arteta plays.
Yeah, I think he does. It's right now they're kind of feeding him scraps. I say what I like when I watch it is Zubimendi. It will probably be the sneaky best, one of the better signings out of the season.
He was good. Yeah.
I think there were other high profile ones, but I think Zubimendi is going to be excellent. I think oh my God, your dude from Chelsea, Ron.
Madueke.
Madueke. I think he is going to become a starter by the time 4 or 5 matches roll around.
But isn't he a right wing by trade? So do you just move him off to the left and have Saka off to the right? Is that your thinking behind it?
Well, maybe. That could be what happens. Also, obviously today the news broke that they signed Eberechi Eze from
an agreement between the two clubs that has been reached. Yeah, which is a killer signing.
Yeah, the medical has now been scheduled, so all moving apace there. Yeah, I guess the official from Arsenal hasn't happened, but so I don't know. I don't know how much longer Martinelli stays up there in a starting position. They need a depth. They have it now. If you can win when you like crap, that's pretty good. And then there's the difference, right? We had an excellent goalie that day in between the sticks. And that's
that day, yes.
He is a Golden Glove winning goalie. So what do you mean that day? He's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But he's cost you games in the past, and you guys signed a Premier League starter and the backup in the wings that the minute he messes up, is he going to be replaced like Ramsdale did?
If homie can't keep up, you out.
So you're not getting a backup of that quality.
Yeah.
If there isn't.
Oh yeah, he won. Yeah, he won the Golden Boot for last season. I'm just saying, like,
he scored the most goals. Good
not
for
Golden.
him.
Sorry, Golden Glove, not Golden Boot. Golden Glove. Yeah, the Golden Glove for last season. So he should have been good. And there was talk about a huge difference right there.
Absolutely. That in this game, that was the difference of this game.
And maybe
by far, I don't disagree with you on that.
Maybe he's throwing down because they know they hired the other guy, and he's the one that moved old Ramsdale out. Little competition never hurt no one. That's what made America great.
Indeed.
I think
pants on one leg at a time. Here we go.
I don't. I just jump into both legs at one time.
Just whoop. A Wallace and Gromit
same
style.
Way we do.
I think that Madueke is really going to fit in for you guys over there, because even if you give him in the spot of Martinelli, which we did in Chelsea a lot, we put him off to the left, and he really likes. And it's very creative when he's got the ball at his feet and he is taking on a defender 1v1 and twisting him up, trying to cut inside. I think he's going to be really good for you guys in that respect, more off to the left than on the right. But the good thing is that because you're going to be in, a million competitions this year, he's going to be great backup for Saka.
Well, so that's where, like, looking at this, it's all Premier League for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches. I don't know when our first, non-Premier League matches, but if he hasn't started by then, I'm pretty confident he'll start for one of those European matches. And depending on how he does, I could really see him snagging the starting position I agree. I agree completely. I mean, it's Gyökeres. We needed a striker. And don't be wrong. Yeah, you need a striker. But I do think like Madueke and Zubimendi. I think some of these other signings. I mean, this one that's just apparently come through as a I think those end up becoming a bigger deal. You know, as far as controlling the games are concerned.
So who rides the pine if Eze comes in? Is that going to be a Martinelli and a Madueke, and he plays off to the left of a Gorky Saka? Because I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna displace a Rice, Zubimendi, or an Odegaard.
Well, I would say that a lot of my conversation I just had is really based off prior to all of a sudden Arsenal swooping in and grabbing Eze today. That was kind of how I was looking at it, because it looked like they had stepped away from that situation entirely, and that was not going to be a signing out of Crystal Palace. So, you're not wrong. It could be that. I mean, as Ron said, there's a lot of competitions too, so it gets shifted around. So now you don't have to rely on these people, and I'm curious to see. You know, Arteta tends to stick with the team, but now he's got some options. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And Havertz is now injured. So
correct.
For the
do you
next
think
3
that
months.
they make that move for Eze and kind of swoop in the way they do because of that news on Havertz?
So you know what's crazy? Do you guys? That's not the case. This deal was done as of August 10th. I was reading a thing right before we hopped on about it. They were like on the end of how did this happen? And basically everything was agreed to on the 10th, and everybody kept it quiet. And then the Spurs were still negotiating on. So Crystal was, leveraging that a little bit, but was basically waiting for Arsenal to respond back because he wanted Arsenal. That's what he really wanted. I have to send you the article. I was literally just reading that. I was like, oh, holy cow. Like it said, how did this happen? Was like the breakdown of how it happened. And that everything was pretty much agreed to as of August 10th. They just kept it very quiet. And Crystal Palace
that long ago.
Used the no, it's not that long ago, but I mean the injury happened after that is what I mean. Because that was my assumption too, was this, we'll just swing in with a little extra money. But it wasn't. And then Crystal Palace did what they're supposed to do. They got a little bit more money out of the situation by doing that. So I'm curious to know how it all shakes down, because it looked like Eberechi was like, let's do it. Let's just go ahead and we'll do Spurs, whatever. Even though he was kind of holding out, and I don't know. This is like this was one that broke earlier today. Fox Sports says it's a public embarrassment. I don't know how for Spurs. I don't know if it's that big or not, but definitely seems like it was more in place than anyone realized prior.
Yeah, I mean it's an embarrassment because they were going after him. Two, they need him in a way because James Maddison picked up a very long injury in a preseason game for them, and he was their number 10. Ideally, you just plug and play as they into that. Where with Arsenal, where are you going to play him is the question. Is he going to play like a left wing position, which he's kind of played before? Or is he going to play a number 10 role, which is an Odegaard type role? So you're going to bench the captain to play him? Probably not. Are you going to bench Zubimendi to play him? Probably not, because you like that double pivot-esque type midfield between him and Rice. So
I think the nice thing is
like you play him as a false nine. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's options. So like, a Rice picks up an injury, and last year that would end the season, and now it doesn't. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah,
to see how
the depth of defender and center defender would be the concern that I would have for you guys. If a Saliba or a Gabriel both were excellent in the game on Sunday, either of them get hurt, then you're in trouble, because Ben White can play it. But there's not a whole lot down the depth chart there of a center back.
Sometimes the best
Timbers and your Skellies who play the outback type things, or the.
Well, it was definitely sometimes the best offense is a good defense. And that's kind of what that match pretty much was. Shall we move on, gentlemen?
Let's do it.
To tear through the rest of these. Is this our 2-minute drill? Mm-hmm. All right. Let's get some sound effects then. All right. Let's roll this into our 2-minute drill. I have too many windows open. I couldn't find my clock. There it is. All right. Here we go. All right, Ferris, do you want to take us away for the first one?
Why not? The Premier League champions Liverpool kicked off the Premier League season on Friday at Anfield with a 4-2 win over Bournemouth. On a night when Diego Jota and Andre Silva was remembered and revered, and Liverpool overcame the Cherries, Antoine Semenyo coming back from 2-0 down, there was an appalling bit of racism towards the aforementioned Semenyo. The match officials, Merseyside police, both captains and both clubs in the moment and following the match have been absolutely brilliant to highlight yet condemn and to offer their support and backing of Semenyo and the action to kick out racism in football. You know, just, you can scour the internet, you can scour for statements and quotes and new articles and kind of just see how the statements and how Van Dijk and how everything was handled. The match was stopped for a moment there when I believe it was either 1-0 or 2-0. And NBC actually caught it on video of somebody having words with Semenyo. It was later, a few minutes later, that's when the match was stopped, when Semenyo reported it to the match official. And I want to get the match official right.
Wasn't it Anthony Taylor?
Anthony Taylor, you are correct. He handled it awesome, went over, talked to the fourth official, brought both managers in, talked to both captains, and it was done very, very well. And the law enforcement there was able to find that person and make an arrest. So all in all, on what kind of scarred the first game of the season, and what should have been just a night of just remembering a former player of theirs and honoring him, and kind of kicking off the campaign to win the Premier League again. Kind of had that arc on it, but all in all, it was a fun game. And kudos to Semenyo for being racially abused, and then instead of having words back, instead of going about it in not an arguably bad way, because I've never been, racially abused, so I have no clue how I would handle myself. But for him to handle it in the way that he did, and then he went on to score 2 brilliant goals to make it 2-2, was awesome. And then Liverpool scoring 2 late. So all in all, it was a fun match. I watched it at Chinese Deli with Tony and Britt, and it was a good time. But what did you guys make of all of the match and then the new signings for Liverpool?
They're guys, brace yourselves. They are going to be very good again. Like very, very good again. And it's one of those things. Any other team, I think the things that happen. Semenyo scores 2 goals like that. Other teams crumple, and then Liverpool still managed to pull it off. Also, who's the person that pulls it off?
Chiesa.
Yeah.
For Federico Chiesa, who came off the bench, is his actually first league goal for Liverpool since he arrived last summer.
Yeah. Like,
he made it 3-2, and then Salah made it 4-2 in like the 94th plus. Or
something. Oh yeah, and Salah, he's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. They're just gonna be really good. Bournemouth, though, I mean, hey, great match. Like, out of them. I mean, they played
solid,
scrappy, and if they can hold that out, they'll end the season better than they did last year.
I don't know if they're going to end the season better than they did, because they lost a lot in defense. They've lost pretty much their entire defense, but they still have attackers there. So I think they'll be okay. But I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were last year.
I was just happy to see the amount of fight that they had still had.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right after going down 2-0, I was just proud that it wasn't kind of like a throw your hands up. This match had similar problems to a bunch of the Premier League matches this week, in that everybody just seemed like they were in slow motion.
We said it last year that it felt very preseason-y, and it felt very preseason to these open matches.
They all were having the pina colada IPA.
Yeah, there you go. Get their sunscreen
on holiday, yeah.
But this match started off kind of just slowly. Like, Liverpool picked up the pace probably in the last, I don't know, third of the second half.
They did well in the first third and the last third.
Yeah.
But the second third is they kind of just went into a lull.
Yeah. And it was just kind of set over the entire Premier League weekend, right? Chelsea Palace were that way. There's so many other games that just seemed slow. But I was extremely excited to see that Bournemouth really, had such a good game, even though they lost.
I still think they might do better, Ferris. But I think it's because we're going to find out there are other clubs that struggle harder this go around.
That's fair. I would like them to do better, for sure. But I think with all of that defensive loss, I think that's what hurt him here. Because a Bournemouth team...
Apologies, sorry.
A Bournemouth team that would have tied it up 2-2 might have saw out that game, but they did not.
I was trying to slide it over, and I was going to use the keyboard, and I don't usually use that, and I definitely triggered that a little prematurely. Sorry. On over to Villa and Newcastle. Played out to a 0-0 draw on Saturday morning, but the biggest news comes from either of these clubs, really, is the Alexander Isak transfer holdout saga, which has come to a statement of blows this week. Geez, so what do you make of these teams in the Isak saga? Well, starting with the teams, should we go there first?
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that all
Villa looked confused.
Yeah.
They didn't look like the team that ended last year on a voracious effort, right? Like the passion didn't seem to be there. The heart didn't seem to be there. And the quick passes and the playing out of the press, and they just seemed like they were confused on what they were supposed to be doing.
Yep. And they have a lot of games coming because they're playing in the Europa League this year.
What was Villa's transfer season like? I'm looking at here.
Not a whole lot of big moves. They were trying. It seemed like they were trying to shop. What's his name up front? Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
They've only brought in one person from Nice, Evan Gustan. They've loaned out people. They just transferred Jacob Ramsey actually to Newcastle. De Donker went to Real Oviedo. Leon Bailey was just loaned out to AS Roma. So they really haven't done a lot for a position where they were in a lot of games. So right, they were in the Champions League last year in the Premier League. But remember, they had in reinforcements, right? They had in Marcus Rashford. They had in Marco Asensio. Both of those ends loaned it. They opted not to buy either of those players, and here they are.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, to be fair, we just talked about, the other clubs looking like preseason, so I'm not going to judge too harshly.
Right.
Villa, they still have the pieces in place to I think, mount a good campaign. Does anyone feel like this is more indictful on Newcastle? Like they should have, with their current situation with Isak, and then I think
that's weighing on their mind some because they don't have that number 9. Now they brought in Anthony Alenga from Forest.
Also Villa was down a man, right? To forget that, you feel like Newcastle should have won this. Won this match.
They brought in Jacob Ramsey, who we just talked about. So they brought in a few. They've missed out on a few too. A lot of the talk in the summer was they missed out on Mbuemo. They missed out on Cunha. They missed out on Polina. That went to Ron's. They missed out on like 7 or 8. They missed out on Atike that went to Liverpool. They missed out on a lot of people in the summer. So it doesn't. Newcastle's not going in with a lot of hope this summer. I think there was like a hope meter that the Athletic just put out, and their club ranks the last because of just like nobody's really that hopeful because they too are in a lot of games. Coming up, they are in Champions League, and the reinforcements haven't really come in. And oh, by the way, they might lose and are probably lose after the statements coming out this week. Their star number 9. Because he basically said promises are broken and trust has been lost. And Newcastle have kind of dug their heels in and said, well, he's still under contract. We don't see anybody coming in for what we want to get back on the player. And we're all about the team and the club. And we've been up front with them type of thing. So it's you're at a, is he going to sit out the entire season, or is somebody like a Liverpool who he's been wildly reportedly connected to? It's going to come in for 150 million, which is going to break a new, transfer record. So that's weighing on them. So until we get to like September 2nd, when all this is behind them, you might not see them do all that great.
And look, if he has to stay and there isn't some sort of miracle purchase, is he going to go the way of sorry, who was the person from Villa? He was a right winger, scoring like crazy, was sold to City.
Jack Grealish?
No.
You sure?
He was like, maybe he was like Middle Eastern guy. Anyway, where started with an R, maybe? I'll look it up. Anyway, where it was kind of like this lame duck scenario, right? He really didn't want to be there anymore because he thought the club did Reyes. Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, he really thought that
Riyad Mahrez? That's not Riyad Mahrez.
Maybe it was Mahrez.
Because when Leicester
he played for Leicester, though, yeah. Anyways,
because there was a holdout. He was on a holdout for a bit. Anyway,
I can't. It doesn't come to mind of who you're talking about, but yeah.
So is he actually going to show up and play well to put himself in the shop window, or is he going to pout about it, seemingly like all of the statements he keeps putting out?
Like, what is that about, man? I mean, and the other thing too, 150 million.
Well, I mean, listen, that's fair in today's market for a number 9 that can score regularly in the Premier League and was joint Golden Boot, I believe, last season. What are you going to get him for 60 mil? Like, that's not going to happen. And I don't blame Newcastle. He's still under contract for another 2 years or 3 years. Now, I get Isaac being a little pissed because he was promised and told certain things. However, leadership at the club has changed over the years. So your promises, your handshake agreements, your gentleman's agreements are no longer there. There was nothing written down saying, hey, we promise you the X amount, $300K a week or whatever it is that he was being promised. So I get why he's pissed, but he's not, in my opinion, he's not in a position of power in a way, because he's still under contract. The club's not going to sell him. I mean, if he sits out, like, where you're just kind of at this weird impasse right now that, what, is the club just going to fold and be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll take 80 mil for him? They're not going to do that, nor do I think they should. Right. And at the same point, if Isaac was promised certain things, I can understand it that he's not want to play, but I don't think he's going about it in the smartest way. Because if you also think too, is he going to sit out the whole year? Probably not, because it's a World Cup year. And if Sweden make the World Cup, does he want to sit out and go into that cold? Probably not.
And he's going to walk to the stadium with all the fans boo. It's just a mess.
Yeah, it is a messy situation.
But also Newcastle, like, they valued him 150 million. He becomes like the cheapest 150 million player per weekly salary. Like, there's a little bit they did to themselves too in this situation.
Oh, sure.
Like,
both have done a little bit to themselves.
I think he's just not helping himself by doing all these statements and going public and trying to apply all this pressure to the club when, as Ferris points out, doesn't have merit very much. Excuse me. He doesn't have very much leverage in this situation.
No.
And trying to manufacture it by going on to social media and making these statements, but he's not putting himself well in the shop window. So even if he stays, they may not play him as punishment, or if they do, he may not have heart in it and not play very well for them, which also doesn't help them sell him.
No.
You have to win over the fans again.
He could request
Which is
a
not
transfer,
impossible.
lose a lot of money.
It's crazy.
Messy.
Yeah. No, Messi. That guy. He's in Miami.
Fulham leave it late on the road as second half sub Rodrigo Munoz scores in the 90+6 against Brighton. A pretty even, hard-fought match until the end for this one. But are there any really high hopes for either of these clubs?
Man.
I don't think so.
Like Fair said, they've lost Brighton. Fulham will probably be where they were-ish, would be my guess. But Brighton, man, they just don't. They got rid of, or they've lost so many people, I should say.
Yeah, and they've lost so many people over the past few years, right? Fulham haven't really done much in the transfer market at all, and Marco Silva, their coach, pretty much came out and put pressure on the board to sign people because they've loaned out a few. They've loaned out a majority. That they've released a majority. They've only brought in Benjamin Leclemente from Montpellier, who's a defender, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I think these teams aren't in risk of going down. So I think they're probably firmly mid-table, somewhere between 10 and 15th. But yeah, I don't really have any high hopes for either of these teams. I don't see them doing like what a Forest did last year.
No.
If we're using that as the barometer.
Brighton and Hove brought in a bunch of players, but it feels like the people that they brought in were gum over the holes in the leaking boat.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like, that's a great signing for them.
You just got to get some Flex Seal. Slap.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The tape or the spray, either one. So, I don't know. I think Brighton and Hove is going to be solidly mid-table, maybe just under.
I think just under. I do. They might get that sweet Man United 15th spot. Hold on to that.
Let's go.
That made me happy.
Sunderland are back in their first top flight match since the 2016-17 season. The Black Cats blanked the Hammers of West Ham 3-0 at the Stadium of Light. I had this game on like I had two on my TV screen, one on the iPad, and I had that sound on, and that was just absolutely fun. And Sunderland have made a lot of moves, actually, and some very good moves. But what a return to the league for Sunderland. But West Ham, woof. Not a good start at all.
Good old Potter.
Yeah, his name might come up a little bit later in the pod, if you know what I'm talking about.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
Another team that, the board, what's the Karen Brady from
she came out,
Vice Chair board came out and said, look, this isn't the time to panic. But the fans are looking at all the things that didn't happen last season and just adding this to the pile of, Potter failures, right?
Brighton and Potter should have held on to each other for longer.
Yeah, no kidding. Freaking Chelsea. They always ruin everything.
You're welcome. We do what we can.
Sunderland, though, to kind of highlight, like West Ham hasn't done a lot in the transfer, and they haven't done very, very good. But Sunderland have brought in Granit Xhaka.
He's back,
Bayern
baby.
Leverkusen.
How many red cards?
And he was automatically handed the captaincy.
The question Which Granit Xhaka do you have?
Yeah.
Probably the later in Arsenal career, and the Bayern Leverkusen is my guess.
I hope he gets a good spicy one this year, though.
Yeah, and he looked great. They brought in Habib Diarra from Strasbourg. They brought in Talibi from Club Brews. They brought in Simon Adingra from Brighton. They brought Norde Makweli from who they just signed today from Paris Saint-Germain. So they brought in a lot. Yes, they lost Joe Bellingham to Dortmund, who helped to get them up. But I tell you that if they were the team out of all the teams in the Premier League, especially with all of the new players, that looked like they gelled the most and the fastest.
Agreed.
And West Ham just looked lost.
So
they look like the New York Jets.
Look,
that's fair.
We keep saying it's beginning of the season, but God, something felt different about this West Ham like playing, because it just you're just like, Norwich, I hardly knew you. Like, are we back there to like, how quick are we out of this season? I think we picked West Ham, a couple of us, in the last few years. Maybe this was the year they go down, or it's the year they go down, or the year they get in the top 6. Like that's what was nuts. Like they were doing pretty good a couple of years ago.
They might come up again.
And then they sacked the manager, replaced him with Graham Potter, sold a bunch of people, and now everyone's shocked that they're not doing well. Like, that's a pretty easy recipe to follow for disaster.
Yeah.
So bad. Sunderland, now are they better than we think?
A little too early to tell,
wait.
but I do think so.
I think that they were really smart and were playing this. Look, they're like, we just got to come in like 16th. Okay. Like we just need to. And I definitely think they have the parts and pieces to try and pull something off based on, maybe too early to say, clubs like West Ham. They might be able to pull this off.
Well, let's check it out, because Burnley's next in the league. Then Brentford's in the league. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Forest, and Man United. Excuse me. Man United round out their September. Their October doesn't look all that easy. So let's wait another 2 or 3 weeks and look at the results they're getting and the momentum they have built or lost. And then I think we can get a better idea of where they're going to go.
A pair of Richarlison volley scissor kicks was more than enough, as new look Spurs behind new manager Thomas Franks was more than enough for Tottenham to get past the returning Burnley Football Club and welcome them back with a 3-0 defeat. Richarlison, the new number 9. Do you fear for Burnley? I think we've kind of admitted the second one is yes, Burnley.
Yeah. They've lost a few coming up as well. I think they're going to be in trouble. It's going to be a long season for them. Richarlison, though. A bit of a resurgent under Thomas Franks.
He bugs me. You know why? I've had that mother scratcher for more than a couple years on my fantasy team when he was supposedly hot, and it would be like, it would be boom or bust. I don't know, man. I need 3 matches in a row where he's consistent. Then even if he doesn't score, if he's just involved in making things happen, I don't know. I don't know if he's the new number 9.
Yeah, and I think if Tottenham would have gotten Eze, they might have showed up in my top 5 or 6 there. Now,
look,
without
man,
Eze, I'm not so sure.
Can we say something? This Eze thing that just fell through for them, this whole barely getting anybody in the transfer that they did for like 3 summers in a row is biting them in the ass right now. They made a ton of money selling off like Harry Kane and stuff, and you're like,
and Son.
Yeah, and then Son was leaving. Right. It just feels like to have had like 3 summers in a row where, and you ended, they ended in 17, right? 17 last year? Where did they end up at the end of the season?
They lower than Man United. It was like 17th, yeah.
So like just above relegation. No, granted by like 10 points, but still, I know I'm saying this was back with 3-0 win, but like not getting as That's the only thing I'm curious to see as this season pans out, because they really didn't get anybody for a few summers.
No, I mean they brought in Paulinho, who didn't start in this, which is kind of interesting and telling. They brought in Mateus Cunha from West Ham. So there's, they notched them down a peg. But I think their biggest signing was Thomas Frank from Brentford. Yeah. If anybody can get the most out of what they have at the club, it's Thomas Frank, and he's shown it thus far. And we'll get to them in a little bit, but you see how much Brentford is going to probably be in trouble because they don't have him anymore. So I think he's their biggest signing. Christian Romero, the captain here, maybe to try to settle him down. So it's going to be an interesting season for Spurs. And remember, they're going to play a lot of games as well.
Yeah,
they're playing in the Champions League. And is that depth going to be there? And it's Thomas Frank's first time playing in that type of thing. So, or at least, that I believe it's the first time. So we'll certainly see. Man City looked like the old Man City as they put 4 past Wolves as new signing. Tijani Rangers had a goal and an assist, while Haaland put up a brace to start his campaign off. And another new signing, Ryan Shirtsky, got his first in the league as well. Man City looked good and a bit forgotten about, while Wolves, well, they don't.
They don't look very good.
I can't really say that any other way.
When I was watching that game, all I could think about was the line in Top Gun where they're talking about, the instructor is having a dogfight with the students, and they're like, where did he go? And they're like, where did who go? That was the defense of the Wolves watching.
Oh, they ran circles around them.
The attacking players of Man City just put on a pedestrian clinic of how to score goals.
But pedestrians, so I go from the Liverpool and Burnley match, which was a tougher match, and I go, man, Liverpool's still going to be really good. I watched this match and I'm like, is Man City that good or were the Wolves that bad? I mean, they just,
I think it could be a bit of both.
They were wretched, man. I'm not knocking Man City here. Wolves were just really bad in that match. A pedestrian clinic is such a good description of what they did to them. They might unknowingly be good too. Oh, thanks for giving me this one. Oh, no, wait, this is Ron's. Mine's next.
This is Ron.
But thank you. I saw mine. I got excited because I saw what mine's about.
The world champs, if we call them the world champs, unveiled banners touting their world champ status prior to kickoff. But the Blues could only muster up a 0-0 draw against the FA Cup and Community Shield winners in Crystal Palace. A fairly interesting 0-0 match. But what do we think of what's going to happen for each of these teams in the season ahead?
Well, I think them losing Eze is going to be...
I was going to say, yeah. I'm not worried about Chelsea at all.
No.
I think they get back in the top 4. But I am worried a little bit about Palace if they lose 3 players, which is all potential for them to lose, which is essentially a spine of their team. If they lose, which all reports are going to lose Eze to Arsenal. Mark Gahey, Liverpool could come in for him, and he's been reported on the move here for the past 2 seasons. That's their club captain. He's in defense. And then if rumors are true and United pull the trigger on an Adam Wharton making a move, that's a midfielder, a striker, and an attacker.
Yeah.
If that happens, even just the Eze is a huge loss for them. But if then all 3 of those happen, similar to, kind of a Brighton type thing or a Bournemouth type thing, then I think they could be in trouble. But Chelsea, I'm not worried about. They have starting lineup after starting lineup after starting lineup, so that they have enough players. It's just trying to get that right. I think. Who did you guys lose for a large part of the season, Ron?
Levi Colwill.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
That's
a big loss.
Massive defensive loss for us.
Yep.
I don't think
I'm cautiously optimistic. The hard part about this all for me is that during the Club World Cup, we got a really great taste of the stuff that Maresca can produce when it comes to strategery and his, how he messes with the lineup to get the most out of the team. And then we saw rather blasé football against Crystal Palace. We didn't really we had a lot of shots. We only had 2 on goal. We didn't really create any great, amazing, sitting chances. And so I'm wondering, why are we going back to this version of Maresca ball so far? Right? Like, we took the Champions League winners and sat them on their bench and beat them soundly. There was none of that kind of feel, that passion, that kind of heart in this match. Now, one of the things that maybe contributed to this is that we didn't have a preseason and all the players are still tired. They only had 3 weeks off, right?
Fair enough.
Maybe that's part of it. It's tough, but they didn't look tired.
God, that's a good shout. That feels like 2 years ago as well, by the way. Good Lord. It was just 3 weeks ago.
So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, and we have a ton of good signings. Our attacking is really good. We need to bring in a defensive core to help Levi Colwell, because we don't really have a solid defense, especially with the way we want to play Mark Cucurella as a hair headbutting attacker and kind of invert him as much as we're doing, right? So that's pulling someone from our midfield like Caicedo into defensive detail, and that's just not smart, because what we have seen in the Club World Cup is that he bosses a game in the midfield. And so that's where you need him, instead of pulling him into defensive detail so that you can invert the wing. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also kind of worried that Maresca is going to go kind of back to Maresca ball.
Please forgive me for my earlier premature enunciation. Let me get to this actual headline that I was supposed to read. A double wood brace of netting balls helped to erect a solid start for the Sheriff of Nottingham as Nottingham Forest beat a worrying-looking Brentford 3-1. We love us some Chris Wood, but can Nottingham Forest replicate their 7th-place European finish like last season? And Brentford, ... We might be talking about Brentford later in our predictions.
The wood is back, baby. Listen, he came out. He's just, it's almost like last season never even ended. So I think that's, I don't think they're going to replicate last season. Now they will be playing. We didn't mention this for Palace against Chelsea. They will be playing in the Europa League, because Palace lost their appeal to play in the Europa League due to UEFA's multi-club ownership.
Yeah, unless you're owned by the folks that own Man City, you don't get away with that. Yeah,
and they will be playing in the Europa Conference League while Nottingham Forest take their place and play in the Europa League. So a bit of Europe now in them with a team that hasn't really strengthened too much.
Chris Wood will lead
they lost
them to
Alanga.
glory.
Yes, they lost Alanga. They brought in Igor Jesus from Botafogo. Dan Ndoye from Bologna. That's a pretty good signing for him. Mar Hutchinson Pretty good signing from Ipswich Town, James McAtee from Man City. So they brought in a few, but is it enough depth to get them through what is going to be a lot of games for them in both league and European play, something that they're not familiar with, as of late anyways?
I don't think Brentford is. I think they'll have a middle of the table season with their notable outs transferred out of their club. I mean, they lost some pretty big pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fighting for relegation to not be regulated or regulation. They lost Thomas Franks, we talk about. They hire first ever manager, who's his first job, Keith Andrews, who was their set piece coach. They lost their kind of talisman there of Embuemo. And right now, Yusan Wissa is not playing for them because they've already turned down a few different bids from Newcastle, maybe. So they're turning down bids for him. So I think they're going to be in trouble, but we'll see.
And finally, to close out match week 1 of this Premier League season, on Monday, in their return to the top flight, Leeds United 84th minute penalty was enough for them to secure all 3 points at home at Elland Road over Everton Football Club. So do we think everybody is going to be in a relegation battle?
It could be a real race down the toilet bowl this year.
It could.
I've been saying trying to predict the relegated teams was difficult this go round because there's some, and I wouldn't even discount out someone like Palace with some of those changes you talked about. Ferris, those all three happen. Like this is they're gonna be dangerous down below.
Leeds, they won. I don't know how many more they're gonna win. There's been a lot of talk that Daniel Farka, who got them up, who used to be, if you remember, the Norwich City manager when they were in the Premier League last. A lot of talk that he is kind of the odds on to get sacked first. Like he was going to even get sacked before the season started. We'll see how they do. Interesting here. Jack Harrison played for Leeds, which was his home club. Remember, he was out on loan last year with Everton. They did get Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, so that should kind of beef up their midfield a lot. He came in the 90th here, so I'm sure he'll see more time as things go along. They don't really have an out-and-out number 9 that is going to be prolific for them. Their strengths at defense, pretty solid midfield, decent wing play with Daniel James, who signed a contract in the offseason, and Wilfred Giganato, or Nato, however you say that. So, and he's been with them for a while. He was with them the last time they were up in the Premier League. So we'll see. Everton, I'm not terribly worried about. Moyes finds a way to get it right. They got Jack Grealish in. I think that's going to help them a lot. He's only there on loan, and they got Drewsbury Hall from Chelsea in the offseason. Some good signing there, and they already had a pretty solid defense, good goaltender. It's going to be like most clubs in this range struggle with the goal scoring. So if Jack Grealish can get a little bit of spice there in his old form back, they'll definitely be okay. But we'll certainly see.
I don't know, man. I think Everton could be in real trouble this go round.
I mean, they have been the past 2 seasons.
I know. That's the thing. They didn't really do a lot of stuff. I don't know. Jack Grealish ain't going to be the savior over there.
You imagine you debut your new beautiful stadium.
You go right down.
And then you hit the toilet.
That would be something. Now, they did not play at home here, so that's
true.
That's good. But yeah, that would be something.
It could be something that could happen. All right,
the most stadium in the championship.
I know, right? Well, this gets us to Ron's knowledgeable news of who's back. It's been a bit since we've had Sunderland.
So every Premier League season, the start of the Premier League season, we talk about all the teams that went up. And so I'll give you a fast rundown. All of these have been in the Premier League since we have been doing the pod. Leeds United, formerly Leeds City. Their nicknames are the Whites and the Peacocks. They were founded October of 1919, gentlemen.
Wow.
105 years ago.
Good year.
Their stadium, as we mentioned earlier, is Elland Road, 37,645 capacity. They are owned by the 49ers Enterprise, which is essentially the people that also own the San Francisco 49ers in
American owners, yeah.
uh,
Half the league's owned by American owners now.
Their colors are blue, white, and yellow. The last time they were in the top flight was the 22-23 season. Their rivals are Manchester United and Chelsea.
Yeah, we don't like each other very much.
A fun fact about Leeds is that they were formerly called Leeds City, but Leeds City was forcibly disbanded by the FA due to illegal payments to players during a season, during World War One.
So, so when does Man City change its name?
So none of us are any stranger to Leeds. They've been up and down a few times here.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, also with some American minority ownership, Burnley, nicknamed the Clarets, founded in 1882, so 143 years ago. Their stadium is Turf Moor. It holds 21,944 people. They are owned by ALK Capital, LLC, a real estate firm that has a sports arm. Their manager is Scott Parker. Their colors are claret and blue. The last time they were in the top flight was the 23-24 season. Their rivals are Blackburn Rovers and Leeds United. And their fun fact, gentlemen, this is awesome. This is a great fun fact. A popular drink served at home matches since the First World War called a Benet and Hot. It's a French liquor called Benedictine, topped up with hot water. The East Lancashire Regiment soldiers acquired a taste for this drink while stationed at the birthplace of the beverage, which is in Normandy during World War II. They drank it with hot water to keep them warm in the trenches. Sorry, that's World War I, not no World War II, sorry. And the surviving soldiers later returned with the drink to East Lancashire. So it's now a tradition at their at Turf Moor to sell this drink. In excess of 30 bottles are sold at each home game, which makes the club one of the world's biggest sellers of the French liquor. And Turf Moor is the only British football ground to sell it.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
That is a pretty cool stat there. Factoid, I guess. Interesting. And if you remember the name Scott Parker, you may know him from probably one of the last times you saw him in the Premier League when he was playing for West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves us...
And Tottenham at the time.
That leaves us with Sunderland Athletic Football Club, nicknamed the Black Cats, founded in 1879, 143 years ago. And they initially were registered as Sunderland and District Teachers Football Club. There's a bunch of history there, but we'll worry about it later. Their stadium is the Stadium of Light. It holds around 49,000 people. They're owned by Kirill Louis Dreyfus, a Swiss-French businessman who also owns Marseille. So they're part of the multi-club hoodoo thing that all the teams are now kind of a part of. And they're also owned, the minority owner is Juan Sartori, a Uruguayan businessman and politician. Their manager is Regis Labrie. Their colors are red, white, and black. They were last in the top flight in the 2016-2017 season. They're rivals with Newcastle United and Middlesbrough. And their
Nine-win derby.
Yeah. And their fun fact is that Netflix has a really good kind of docu-series, if you will, called Sunderland Till I Die.
They were the Welcome to Wrexham before the Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah,
and this one's very interesting.
Because they got on there and got relegated. It's the reverse story.
They got on there and they got relegated twice, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a really interesting watch.
It's wild to see Sunderland
very well done.
back. To be honest, after that happened, that it's very rare that a club can that quickly. What year was
they
that?
went down, I want to say all the way to League 2, maybe?
But what year did they get relegated?
They got relegated in 2016 season, so then they went down to the 8. Yeah, they went to the championship, and then they only lasted a season there. They went down in 19 again. So it was a few times there.
It was a thing and a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that, gentlemen, is your history on these clubs.
Well, this gets us to the part that you've come to listen for because we nail this every time, and it's our
100%.
It's our prediction time. Ferris, over to you.
Well, thank you, Blake. Okay, so here's going to be the order of things. We'll go through it, and I will log them. Now, usually we do the top 4 places to signify the Champions League positions, but this season we'll be doing the top 5, as the English coefficient was so good last season that they had 5 teams enter into the Champions League. It's still early. I don't have quite the pipes all set yet for it. And 5 places are once again expected once more for this.
So is that
season.
guaranteed? It will be 5.
It's pretty much guaranteed, yeah, if everything is correct. So we'll go top 5, then we'll go Golden Boot. So the person that scores the most goals in the Premier League. Remember the decider on those. If 2 players are tied on goals, the decider is assist. And then the first manager sacked. 3 clubs getting relegated in no particular order. Your top 5 is expected to be in order, though, gentlemen. And finally, what is your Leicester-ish prediction for this season's Premier League? Who wants to go first?
Are we doing them all, or are we just sticking with one category going around the horn?
Pick a category.
We'll go one category, and then we'll all 3 of us will give our answers, and then we'll move to the next category.
All right, so top 4. I'll go first.
But top 5,
top
actually.
5.
Right?
Top 5.
Sorry. Top 5.
In order.
Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, Villa. Hold on. Real quick. Ferris, are you taking notes?
I am.
Putting them somewhere you're not going to lose them again.
Part of the reason that I was having trouble logging back into the Brewtiful Game was I was trying to transfer the Google Excel, whatever they call it, doc, over to the Brewtiful Game account and give the Brewtiful Game account it, so that it is on there now, so we all have access to it. But I never actually lost it. I just couldn't remember if it was on my Google Suite or Brewtiful Game's Google Suite.
Gotcha.
But I just took it on our Brewtiful, and it has the tabs for the past few seasons, so we're just starting tabs on it. But anyways, Blake, do you want to give you your top 5?
I find the 5th spot the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to be very similar, Ron. I have Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City. And then I think my 5th is, I'll go, they'll pull the Isaac stuff together and it'll be Newcastle.
Oh,
that's a dark horse.
Okay.
Mine was going to be Newcastle for me was 6.
Yeah, I could see that. I think it's going to be Man City. I think Pep's Mad from last year. Liverpool. Arsenal. Chelsea. So we all have Chelsea in 4th.
No, I have Chelsea in 3rd.
Oh, you do. Correct. And Man United sneak in.
We're not doing Leicester's predictions right now.
That's a prelude to what might come up later. All right. Golden Boot. I'll start off. Erling Haaland. There's not even a question for that for me.
I'm going to go with Salah.
All right.
I'm also going with Haaland. The guy scored 85 goals in 97 appearances.
Who won Golden Boot last year?
Salah.
I don't think.
And you and Blake both had him. All right. First manager sacked. And no, Eric Ten Hag is no longer on the board, so you can't go with that one.
Well, it was real hard not to pick Ruben Amorim. I mean, I was staring at it for a long time. That stat, I'm like, man, if we'd done this episode 2 weeks to the Premier League and you guys lost again, I think I would change my vote. It's staring at me.
There's no way he's getting sacked.
But I already won with Eric Ten Hag. I'm going to go with Keith Andrews for Brentford.
Yeah, I'm going to follow it up with you, Blake. I'm going to go Keith Andrews as well.
Interesting. Gentlemen, I was torn between Leeds United, Daniel Hart, and Graham Potter.
Oh, that's a good one, though, too.
Graham Potter was so easy. I was like, everyone's going to pick that, I thought. So I was like, I'll do something different.
That's
that
a good
was actually
one.
what I thought.
But Daniel Fark has a 12% win rate over.
So then, all right. So
did you
then
say
we'll do this.
12? Wait, hold on. A 12% win rate? Is that what you just said?
Over his 49 games with Norwich.
Oh, geez.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to change mine. That way we all have somebody different. So
Ruben
Blake,
Amorim.
Keith Andrews. I'll do Daniel Farka, and Ron will do Graham Potter. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
All right, gentlemen. Your 3 teams that are getting relegated.
I think Blake's got to go first on this one.
In order, I will do it.
Okay, in order you want to do it.
I'm just saying I'll do it. I'm gonna.
You will get extra points
as an
if it's
extra
in
point.
order, and
I'll
that's
throw
correct.
it. Burnley, then Brentford, and last place West Ham.
Okay, so for first time in a few years, you don't have all 3 teams coming up, all 3 teams going down. You only have one of the teams going.
I don't think that's going to happen this go around. I think there's some stinkerinos that have been sitting in this system that are going to go out, and I think West Ham's finally going to get knocked out. I think they're going to have a really bad season. That is my big prediction. That's my anti-Leicester's prediction.
All right, I'll go next. Not in order, because it doesn't really bias anything. West Ham, Leeds, Burnley.
Oh, so you went West Ham too? All right.
JJ.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm going to similar, not in order. Leeds, Burnley, and I've been going back and forth on this one all day, but I'm going to probably go with Wolves.
Also
It's not a bad shout. I just kind of feel it. There's something about West Ham this year. It looks like the egg is cracked.
Yeah, I think there is going to be a toilet bowl race for through 16th through 20th. There are teams that are going to be battling down there, and I think it's going to be a battle at the top too.
Look, man,
it's going to be an interesting year.
It could be, but I believe fully that it could easily be the bottom 6 are really. It's close when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feel. This feels like a year the dominant is going to pop up real quick and the crap is going to sink real fast. It just feels that way.
All right, I'll kick us off with the Leicester's prediction. I kind of alluded to it earlier. 15th place, Man United get back in the Champions League places.
I did write that down to be a
It's very weird to say, but it is a Leicester-ish prediction from where they ended last year and where the season's gone to get all the way back up there, especially with the teams that are competing. So, Man United make Champions League place. That is a Leicester-ish prediction for me this year. If they don't, I'm not going to be, I just want to see progression, to see how they played on Saturday. If that continues all season, I'll be much happier this year. But that's my prediction. Who's next?
Well,
I'm watching the penalty shootout.
Both teams, all 5 made, and good pens too.
All good pens.
Since you said yours, I will take that off of my plate for my Leicester-ish prediction. I will say Sunderland in the top 8.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's a Leicester-ish prediction.
Oh, no one's asking you to defend it.
No, I like it.
Mine is Crystal Palace are going to make it into Europe.
Oh, that's a mighty one, man. That's
okay. So, all right. So, okay. Crystal Palace make it into Europe again. Ooh, good save.
Ron done thrown both raw chicken wings up on top of the grill.
So they make it back into Europe.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that.
Well, he said make it back. You know what's funny? Watch them get like close to relegation or relegated, but they'll like win the Conference League or something like that, and then they're back in Europe. I mean, it worked. It worked for worked for Spurs. I mean, so like,
yep,
it's totally possible. That's
Blake. You gave yourself an out because top 7 is essentially Europe, but you said Sunderland would make top 8. You kind of gave yourself a little bit of an out, but I think that's still a very Leicester-ish prediction, though.
And are we in one of those weird seasons too, with who's gone and who's doing stuff? We could actually end up with that role in Europe. Who knows? But yeah, I feel like 7th was too high to shoot for it. Super realistically,
Son of a Enrique.
All you do is make it, and we advance.
Oh,
And he shoots it wide. God bless it.
you're an attacker. Your job is to put it in the back of the damn net. We're watching the Leeds Cup quarterfinals. So,
Against Toluca. And they're in extra time. Well, they don't go to extra time. They just go straight to pens. And as we just said, that both teams made all 5. And then on the 6th, both teams missed. One got saved and one got completely shanked wide.
I love how that like removed the fun of the Leicester's prediction immediately.
sorry.
Hey, you ain't got to apologize. Don't you worry.
That's a save. All right, hold on.
Is that the post that saved it?
No,
Or
I don't know. I thought he saved it,
Ooh.
but I don't know. We'd have to see it again, but I thought he saved it.
Ugh.
He sure did. He palmed it. All right, who's up next? And they just got to make it. I think I'm a little bit ahead of you, Ron.
Yeah, you are. You're like
Okay, so I'll try not to.
second and a half ahead.
The
I'll try
tension
not to
is
comment now. But who? Now I think
palpable.
you're there now. But who's taking it? But the
Lacey.
goaltender, Galese.
That saved it. Right.
So we will see here.
Oh man, this is like a special tense
Live edition.
filled end of the pod.
There you go, Blake.
We've never ended. Thank you. I don't have it on my computer since I'm recording.
Vamos! Get in!
Was that the goalkeeper?
Saves one and then gets the winner.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, hold on.
Fierce, I
Inter
love that you
Miami?
got the Orlando kit with the scarf. Or the collar. I never did get that one.
Oh, this is my favorite. This is
I
my
need to get
all-time
that
favorite
one.
kit.
Yeah.
My all-time favorite that we had. But if I'm not mistaken, did Inter Miami win their cup game?
2-1.
2-1?
Yeah, Messi didn't play. He was injured.
Of course he was. So we, I think, play them in the next round again.
Will it be at home? He won't.
And
We go there.
Oh, so he will
we
play
go
that
there,
game.
though. So we would not come here. God bless it once again.
Amazing.
Whatever.
Well, that's a fun little end of the pod. I'm glad Orlando won and it wasn't all depressing.
Yes, indeed.
Well, as always, follow us on just go to our website, Brewtiful Game, follow us, whatever, Untapped, all that jazz.
And we're going to try to update a lot of things on the site. We know it hasn't been up. Gets updated each week from the pod, but
from the
update
pod,
beer list and update some things.
Yeah.
We're talking about doing seasons on the pod. We're trying to update some things.
Yeah, if you notice anything weird in your podcatcher, we're trying to go back through and retroactively do our seasons kind of based around the beginning of Premier League. So I'm still playing catch up on that right now. So the only thing that exists is season 1 and then an amorphous season. But we're just going through kind of playing clean up a little bit, kind of playing spring cleaning with our digital archives.
Yeah, and we've talked about trying to record the pod too, so you can see our ugly.
Video one. I know that's so rough. I look so forward to coming in tired as hell and not having to worry about it. The idea of the video kind of freaks me out a little bit.
So yeah, we're tossing around some ideas.
Then I got to clean up this basement. I mean, what am I going to do down there? It's so much work. Yours looks so good, Ferris, because you got all the little Orlando.
Yeah, I got a spare wall with the Pride when they won last year. Obviously, decided just to do a wall, and got a few signed things. Got a signed ball from the team last year. Scarves. I don't know if you noticed my newest scarf there, Blake, but it is they were selling a goat scarf, and it has heart to hold it up the shield and the NWSL trophy.
That's awesome.
National championship trophy.
You know, it's funny. So like, it was hot outside at work. We were rehearsing all these entertainment shows. So I was telling the guys prior to the pod, I was wearing like different soccer kits like every day, and Orlando stuff and Arsenal and some Bayern Munich and the Bournemouth kit. But the only one I kept grabbing was my new one that I got of the Orlando Pride with the star on it. I'm like, nah, I can't. This is a nice one. It's like my dress shirt one. I feel like I can't get that one messed up. My Marta one. It's got Marta on the back, got her number, got the star. I'm like, nah, I can be nice to this one. The only thing I want on this one is Marta's signature. That's the only thing I want on that one.
Oh,
you know what?
You just got to send it to Ferris because
I'll get a sign for you. Yeah, we're buds.
Yeah, they're like friends.
Well, I have her signature on one from a few years ago, and I have a picture with her. I had my kit on, didn't ask her to sign it, but we took a really cool photo of her pointing at her name as I'm doing like the celebration where you turn around and you point as well. And I tell you what, that was one of the cleanest daps and handshakes I've ever given anybody. It was like we've known each other it was like the friends I was with were like, like you were smooth, and I was like, didn't realize it, but we just gave each other the smoothest damn dap ever, man. It was like we were just two old friends. But no, she's great. I've met her a handful of times, and she's fantastic.
I love it. Beer's the pod. I had the Swashbuckler Brewing Company's Stilgehen, their Hellesbach, which, man, the only problem with this one, it's 7%. It's super drinkable, and that's about 3% more alcohol than you normally get like in a Pilsner. This is really good.
I got a Crooked Cans Pina Colada IPA, and I'm on my second here, and it is darn good.
Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Sarah and Chuck, by the way.
I had Jing A Brewing Company's Tu Hao Golden Pilsner. Delectable as always.
Ferris, do you have us a Zlatan and or any other quote?
I do not have a Zlatan. I thought it reasonable to kind of go through some of the quotes that captain of Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk, said following their match. So I'm going to read a few here from him. But he said, I've had loads of conversations with him, Semenyo, about it. First and foremost, I wanted to know what happened, and I'm glad the authorities are dealing with it. This is the main thing. But we stand with him completely, and I think every one of you here would say the same thing. These things can't happen. Say anything he needs for support. I am here for him. We are all here for him, to be honest, but the club as well, and they are dealing with it the right way. I am fully confident about that. Especially the authorities have to deal with it now. And like I said, these things can't happen whatsoever. I can't believe it, and I can say these things that it shouldn't happen, but unfortunately it does, and it is absolute disgrace in my eyes. These things should never happen in the world, not only football. I'm happy to say I don't see it happening up until today, actually, and that is why I say that it is a disgrace and that it could happen. But in general, racism is not of this world, in my opinion. But if we are to be realistic, unfortunately, it still exists, and that is the dangerous side of it. We have to deal with it in the here and now. And like I said, I'm here for Antone, and whenever he needs it, and we are here as a club to deal with it in the best way possible, because it shouldn't happen. Virgil van Dijk.
Love that. That's a good quote. Let me see if I can ruin it with a story. So we're creating a new way I work out, a new immersive experience where like you go into like a bar, like it's olden times, like ye old bar. You got to dress in armor. So for the opening day, I had this suit of armor that my wife was so nice to actually help. I said I've asked my wife to polish my medieval battle uniform for when I go into this pub. She always said she wanted a knight in shining armor. I like Ron's stern look compared to Ferris's slight chuckle.
Get it, night in.
That was totally worth it. I don't know if that was good enough. It was worth it for Ferris. All right there.
This is the laughter and face of somebody that hasn't been dealing with a new month-year-old and lack of sleep.
Fair enough. Ron, how old now? 3 weeks? Wait, 2 weeks?
7 days?
7 days? How long has it been?
8 days.
I've lost all
8
track
days.
of time. Jeez,
Yeah.
8 days. That's
Wow.
it. All right, new dad times 2.
Congrats to you.
Congrats, brother.
Cheers, gents.
Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.